It is not silence. Silence is a privilege long dead. What remains is the sound. The sound of machinery beyond comprehension, a cosmic engine groaning under a strain it was never built to endure. The sound is the hiss of vaporized souls, the crackle of psychic lightning, the metallic grief of 1,000,000 overburdened circuits. This is the sound of the throne room. This is the sound of terror. Here in the Sanctum Imperialis, the air is thick with the ozone of dying gods and the incense of blind faith. Gold plating covers every surface rising to vaults that pierce the heavens, but the gold is a lie. It is a scab on a festering wound. Beneath the artistry there is only mechanism. Beneath the faith there is only desperation. And upon the throne there is only the body. It is a husk. A withered, desiccated thing, a parody of the human form, locked in a rictus of eternal agony. Skin like ancient parchment is stretched thin over a skeleton that should have turned to dust millennia ago. Cables thick as a man's arm pierce the rotting flesh, fusing dead biology with living machinery. They are life support. They are shackles. They are the only things holding the imperium of man together. This is the emperor. This is the master of mankind. This is the god of 1,000,000,000,000 souls. And he is a lie. The body is a prison, but the mind is a supernova. While the flesh rots, the spirit endures a raging incandescent storm of psychic power that dwarfs the sun. This is the anathema. This is the true emperor. And he is trapped. His will, a torrent of raw, unimaginable force, bleeds out, not in command, but in necessity. It leaks from the broken vessel of his body, harnessed by the arcane engines of the Golden Throne, and focused into a single, galaxy-spanning beam of psychic hope. The Astronomicon. It is the lighthouse for a species drowning in the dark. It is the only map through the unreality of the warp. It is the Emperor's eternal scream, a beacon of torment that guides humanity home. And it demands fuel. Every day the black ships arrive. They bring the tithe, they bring the terrified, the gifted, the damned. They bring the psychers. By the tens of thousands they are brought before the throne. They are wired into the great machine. They see him. For one agonizing, glorious moment they see the true God beneath the corpse, the raging sun behind the decay. And then they are consumed. Their souls are the fuel. Their screams are the light. They are annihilated, burned away to nothing, just to keep the beacon lit. Just to keep the Emperor alive. Just to buy the Imperium one more second. He feels everyone. He feels the terror, the sudden awe, the fiery purification, the final oblivion. Their agony is his. He is the pyre, and he is the sacrifice. For 10,000 years this has been his only reality. 10,000 years of silence, of suffering, of an endless internal war fought against the shadows that claw at the gates of reality. 10,000 years of being a battery, a lighthouse, and a shield. 10,000 years of nothing but the pain and the fire. Until now, after an eternity of silent screaming, something stirs. Not in the body. The body is lost, but in the mind. The storm falters. The endless, raging psychic output shudders like a heart missing a beat. The great engine of the throne strains, compensating for the fluctuation. The custodians' statues of gold and grief grip their guardian spears, sensing a change they cannot name. Deep within the inferno of the Emperor's consciousness, a spark of something other than duty has ignited. It is not a surge of power. It is not a plan for salvation. It is not a command. It is a memory. For the first time in 10,000 years, the master of mankind is not just enduring. He is not just fighting the endless war in the dark. He is remembering. This is not a choice. It is a collapse. The systems are failing. The strain is too great. The 10,000-year agony has reached its crescendo. This is the final convulsion of a dying mind, the last desperate spasm of a god on the precipice of oblivion. The body has held the mind prisoner, but now the body is truly, finally giving way. And so the dream begins, the final dream. It is not a vision of the future, it is not a plan for victory, it is a reckoning. A tragic summary of all that was intended, and all that was lost. The consciousness of the Emperor fragments. It splits between two agonizing poles. There is the dream, the memory of what he intended. The Golden Age, the imperial truth. A future of reason, of logic, of a humanity united and ascended free from the hunger of the warp. It is a vision of sunlight, of progress, of a perfect, rational galaxy. And there is the death, the suffocating reality of the 41st millennium. The reality he sees through the souls of the psychers he burns. A reality of ignorance, of superstition, of brutal, endless war. A reality where he, the avatar of reason, is worshipped as a blind, demanding god. A reality where his dream has become a nightmare. This is the dying vision. The Emperor, for one last, lucid moment, is reliving his failure. He is remembering the sun even as he drowns in the dark. The dream begins not with a god, but with a man. A man standing on a mountain looking down at a world poisoning itself. A man who decided after 30,000 years of watching that it was time to intervene. The beginning. The first terrible necessary step towards the end. The fire of the present recedes, the suffocating sacred smog of the throne room. The pressure of a quadrillion souls is replaced by a wind. It is clean and agonizingly cold. The screams of the sacrificed, the roar of cosmic engines, all of it fades, replaced by the singular howl of that wind across a dead world. This is memory. Sharper, more real than 10 millennia of torment. He is standing at the apex of the world. Komolangma. The air is thin, and far below him, Terra is not a golden fortress world. It is a ruin. A patchwork quilt of radioactive deserts, toxic oceans, and the flickering petty fires of endless war. This is old night. This is the age of strife. From this lonely peak he can feel it all. He feels the psycho-tyrants of Ursh ruling by fear their feasts, the minds of their subjects. He sees the priests of the Nord-Afric conclaves reading the future in the entrails of mutants, their minds open sewers to the whispers of the Empyrean. He sees the techno-barbarians of Albion sacrificing prisoners to the rusted, silent engines they worship as gods. Humanity, his species. They had once touched the stars, built an empire of technological wonder, and in their hubris they had birthed the storm, birthed the gods of their own excess, and been nearly annihilated by the thinking machines they had made. This is the legacy of that fall. Superstition, fear, chaos, a willful ignorance, a rejection of reason. They are children burning their own cradle. He had watched for 30,000 years, guided, nudged. It was no longer enough. His voice in the memory resonates. Not the bellow of a god, but the cold, hard certainty of a scientist. They need a teacher, a firm guiding hand, a single unifying truth. He must intervene, not as a king, not as a god, as an architect, an undeniable fact. The imperial truth. The vision blurs. The howl of the mountain wind becomes the roar of 1,000 throats. The Himalayan cold is replaced by the humid heat of chemical fire and blood. The memory plunges from the lonely peak into the heart of a battle. They are giants, larger even than the Astartes who would follow. They wear crude grey iron plate, armed with weapons as potent as they are dangerously unstable. The Thunder Warriors, his first children, brutal tools for a sublime purpose. The memory is of the final battle for Terra, the assault on the fortress of the last Psycho Lord of Ursh. The air is thick with ozone and roasting meat. A Thunder Warrior, his face a distorted mask of savage gene enhancement, bellows his name as he rips a Psyker priest in half with his bare hands. Another, his body already failing from its own genetic instability, laughs wildly as he detonates a bunker, immolating himself in the process. They are sledgehammers. No subtlety, no mercy. They are a product of old night built to end it. And they are dying. Their very existence is a death sentence designed to burn brilliantly and fade fast. He is there among them. His sword is a blade of pure psychic force, and he is the eye of the storm. A terrible necessity. The victory is total. Terra is unified. The memory shifts. A muddy post-battlefield. Rain. The surviving Thunder Warriors. The heroes who conquered a world stand before him. They are panting, exhausted, and filled with a terrible canine adoration. They are heroes, and they are a problem. Too strong, too brutal, too unstable. They were wolves built to hunt other wolves, and there is no place for them in the ordered world to come. The Golden Dream requires a clean foundation. He remembers the command. The quiet, awful word given not by voice but by pure thought to Valdor and his golden custodes. The purge. He sees the confusion in their eyes. The betrayal. He sees gold clash with grey iron. It is not a battle. It is an execution. The first necessary sacrifice. The foundation of the Imperium is laid upon the bones of its first saviors. The dream demands a cruel price. The smell of rain and blood fades. The memory fast forwards. The unification. He is in a great hall, a precursor to the future imperial palace. Before him, the last of the barbarian kings and techno-warlords of Terra are kneeling. Their raiment is a pathetic melange of salvaged glory fragments, of broken STC tech sputtering power swords, armor adorned with bone, and the symbols of dead religions. They are defeated. They are afraid. He stands before them not in armor, but in simple white robes. The light that radiates from him is not the raging inferno of the Golden Throne, but a stable, warm, golden aura. They cannot look directly at him. You have worshipped the storm. His voice echoes in the memory as clear as if it were spoken yesterday. You have worshipped the machine. You have worshipped the ghosts in the static and the specters of your ancestors. You have bowed to fear. He steps forward. There are no gods. There are no demons. There is no supernatural power that judges you. There is only the universe and the physical laws that govern it. There is only humanity. He gestures not to the heavens, but to the horizon, to the stars, visible even through the smog. We are one species. We were scattered, and in our isolation we fell into darkness. Now we shall be united. This is the moment. The birth of the Imperium. I do not bring you faith. I bring you truth. The imperial truth. We will build a future guided by reason. An empire of logic where every man and woman is the master of their own destiny, free from the shackles of superstition. He sees their faces, in some genuine hope, in others ambition hidden behind a mask of compliance. Some he knows are looking at him as the very God he just denied. He accepts their oaths. Their compliance is necessary. We will retake the stars. We will forge a golden age, I swear it. This memory is brilliant. It is pure. It is full of promise. It is the blueprint for a perfect future. But as this radiant memory shines in his dying mind, the reality of M41 screams in protest. The faces of the kneeling techno-lords blur. For a fraction of a second, he sees the contorted, fanatical face of a sister of battle in M41 screaming his name as she immolates a heretic. The contradiction is a physical pain, a spike of agony that nearly shatters the vision. The dream holds, the pure memory of the beginning, the promise, before the compromises, before the suns, before the first crack. The memory of the throne room on Terra dissolves, replaced by the sterile hum of a flagship's bridge. The vision expands. The promise made in that hall of conquered kings is now in motion. Space, not the screaming, blood-hued nightmare of the Empyrean, but the cold, clean, beautiful void of real space. And against that black, a river of fire, 1,000 ships, 1,000,000, fleets so vast they blot out the stars. This is the Great Crusade. This is the arm of the imperial truth, reaching out to reclaim the lost children of humanity. This is the dream made manifest. The memory shifts focuses, a joyous, painful clarity, the bridge of the vengeful spirit. He is there. Before him stands a figure of impossible charisma clad in white and gold armor, his face noble, his eyes bright with intelligence and love. Horus. The memory is of their reunion on Chthoniya. The first, the brightest, the favored. He remembers the pride. It was a sensation he rarely allowed, a dangerous, illogical attachment. But he allowed it then. He saw in Horus not just a general but an heir, the epitome of the new man he was forging. Father, the voice of Horus echoes clear and strong, full of an uncomplicated devotion. I have held Chthoniya in your name awaiting this day. What are your orders? His own voice in the memory is warmer than it was for the Thunder Warriors, softer than it was for the conquered kings. Our orders, my son, are not to conquer. They are to liberate, to bring the light of truth to the galaxy. He feels the pure, burning pride of that moment, the connection. In this memory, Horus is perfect, a son. The word itself is a blade twisting in the dying consciousness of the Emperor, but the memory holds. The pure, bright image of Horus Lupercal, the glorious, untainted war master. This was the pinnacle of his hope. The vision sours. The bright bridge of the vengeful spirit darkens, becoming a rain-swept plaza. Monarchia, the perfect city. This memory is grey. It stinks of ashes and ozone. Below him, a city built on devotion lies in ruins. Its silver spires are toppled, its prayer halls are craters. The word bearers, his 17th Legion, kneel in the mud and ash, their red armor indistinguishable from the pools of blood. And before them stands Lorgar, his son, the Urizen. Lorgar is weeping, not tears of fear, but of profound, shattered faith. He holds up a book, the Lectitio Divinitatus, its pages filled with prayers, worshipping the Emperor as a god. Why, Lorgar's voice is choked broken. We built this for you. We brought worlds to their knees in your name. I love you. Why do you deny the truth? Why do you punish devotion? He sees himself clad in golden armor, his face a mask of cold, imperious disappointment. I did not ask for your love, the Emperor's voice cuts through the rain. I did not ask for your worship, I asked for your obedience. I gave you one truth and you spat upon it, replacing it with the very lies we fight to destroy. You are a failure. He remembers giving the order. He remembers Leman Russ and the wolves, the executioners of this lesson. He remembers forcing Lorgar and his entire legion to kneel for a month in the ashes of their greatest achievement. It was necessary. The cancer of religion had to be cut out. Reason demanded it. But now, 10,000 years later, the dying god on the throne sees the memory differently. He sees the desperate need in Lorgar's eyes, the need for a god. He sees the moment his own cold, unyielding logic broke his son's mind. He sees the exact instant he turned Lorgar toward the whispers that were waiting in the dark. The whispers of real gods. This a new voice not from the memory but from the present echoes in his mind. A laughing, changing voice. Tzinch. This was the joint, the hinge upon which your truth turned into my plan. You gave him to me anathema. He pushes the voice away. The memory of Monarchia dissolves, rejecting the intrusion. The vision accelerates. It becomes a blur, a glorious shining montage. The dream at its apex. He sees himself fighting alongside Jagatai Khan, their blades a blur on a plain of green-skinned corpses. He sees Robote Guilliman presenting a codex of worlds, each brought to perfect compliance, a testament to logic and order. He sees Fulgrim the Phoenician weeping with joy at the feet of the Emperor, promising to create an imperium of perfect art and beauty. He sees the forge fires of Mars, the Mechanicum, pledging their loyalty, their mighty titans striding alongside the legions. Worlds are liberated. Xenos empires are shattered. Human civilizations lost for millennia are brought back into the fold. The light of the imperial truth spreads from the segmentum solar, a golden wave pushing back the darkness. This is the Great Crusade. It is a symphony of unity, of progress, of unstoppable victory. It is the golden dream almost realized. The galaxy is within his grasp. Humanity is on the brink of its final ascension, and he knows he must leave it. The memory shifts from the stars to the deep, silent earth of terror. He is turning his back on the glorious, shining crusade. He is handing the reins to Horus, the perfect son, because the true war, the secret war, was about to begin. The project that would make all this sacrifice worthwhile. The project that would finally and forever save them all. The triumphant music of the crusade fades. The memory pulls inward away from the roaring fleets and conquered stars down deep beneath the foundations of the imperial palace. The noise is gone. There is only a profound humming silence. The air here does not feel like air. It is pressurized, thrumming with contained power. He is no longer the warrior king. He is the architect, the scientist. The vision is of a cavern so vast it dwarfs any cathedral. It is not rock, it is a construct. Gold and psychic crystal line every surface, forming a lattice of impossible geometry. This is the Imperial Webway, his secret project, his great work. This was the true goal. The crusade was merely the gathering of materials. This was the building of the future. He sees himself not in armor, but in the robes of a scholar walking the gleaming golden pathways. The light here is internal, a warm, safe glow that emanates from the walls themselves. He is alone, save for the silent golden giants who shadow his every step. The custodies. Valdor is at his side, his face, as always, an impassive mask that hides a perfect, unquestioning loyalty. This was the key. The final elegant solution. Humanity was psychic, a nascent, evolving race. This was its strength and its profound weakness. The Empyrean, the Warp, was the realm of chaos, and humanity's own burgeoning psychic potential was the food upon which those predators fed. The very act of FTL travel ripping a hole in reality exposed them to the storm. The Astronomicon was a crutch, a blazing campfire in an infinite, hungry darkness. But the Webway, this was different. A relic of an ancient fallen race. A labyrinth existing between reality and the warp, a network of stable tunnels insulated from the chaos. It was the key to true, safe, instantaneous travel. It was the key to cutting humanity off from the gods of the Immaterium. If he could build this, if he could forge a human-controlled extension of the Webway, he would no longer need navigators. He would no longer need the Astronomicon. He could unite the Imperium and then seal the gateway. He could shepherd humanity's psychic evolution in a safe, controlled environment. He could starve the ruinous powers of their prey. He would in a single stroke cut the puppet strings of chaos forever. This was the imperial truth, made manifest, a galaxy of reason, safe from the superstitions and the real monsters that lurked beyond the veil. The memory shows him at the central nexus. A gateway, a circular portal of impossible scale, its surface a swirling, quiescent nebula of silver light. It is beautiful. It is hope. The memory shifts. A new figure is present. Malkador, the Sigillite. His truest friend, the mortal man who had served him for centuries. Malkador looks older in this memory, more frail than he had ever seen him. He leans heavily on his staff. "You are moving too fast." Malkador's voice is a dry rasp, a whisper in the vast humming chamber. The crusade is not complete. The Primarchs, some of them, they are not ready. They do not understand. They see you leaving as abandonment. His own voice in the memory is impatient, cold. The architect, not the father. They do not need to understand. They need to obey. Horus has his orders. He is capable. This is more important than 1,000 compliant worlds. This is the end of the war, the true end, or the beginning of a new one. Malkador counters his weariness, a palpable force. Pride, my friend. It is a danger even for you. To master the craft of the Eldari, they were a race of gods and they fell. This is a realm you do not fully control. I will control it. The Emperor's voice is final, absolute. The imperial truth must have a fortress. I am building it. Malkador bows. The argument is over. The memory of the Sigillite's face, etched with a profound, unheard sorrow, burns in the Emperor's dying mind. Malcador had seen it. He had seen the flaw, the hubris. The scene shifts, the final triumphant moment of the memory. He is alone at the portal. The human-built section is complete. The golden tunnels are stable. He has pierced the veil. He reaches out, not with his physical hand, but with his mind. A wave of pure, controlled psychic power, a golden key turning a silver lock. The portal opens. The light is not the raging fire of the Astronomicon. It is a clean, perfect, incandescent white light. It is the light of the webway, pure and untainted. It is the light of a future he had built with his own hands. A future of logic, of safety, of ascension. This is the last moment of the golden dream, the absolute, unblemished peak of his success. He sees himself in the memory bathing in that perfect light. A scientist on the verge of the ultimate discovery. A father who has finally built a safe home for his children. And in the present, the dying god on the golden throne feels the phantom warmth of that light. It is the last good thing he will ever remember, because he knows what happens next. He knows the sound that is about to tear that perfect silent laboratory apart. The dream holds for one more second on that image of the open, perfect silver-white door. The promise of salvation. The light. The perfect silver-white light of the open webway. It hangs in the memory a frozen tableau of triumph. This is the moment salvation was secured. This is the future. The memory is no longer a silent, golden laboratory. It is Prospero. The vision snaps violently from terror to a world of blue oceans and white, soaring towers. A world of scholarship. He is not there, not physically. He is seeing it through 1,000 other eyes. He sees his wolves, the 6A Legion, the rout, the executioners he sent. He sees the burning of the libraries, the slaughter of scholars. He sees the crimson-armored figures of his son Magnus. Magnus, the Red Cyclops, the scholar, the one who had delved too deep, broken the edict of Nicaea, consorted with the forbidden. He had to be brought to heel. He feels the echo of his own command, bring him to Terra, by any means. The memory shifts again back to the golden tunnels beneath the palace. The silver webway portal is still open, still pristine. He is on the throne, the golden throne, but not as a prisoner. He is using it as it was intended, as a psychic amplifier, a tool to control the vast energies of the portal he had opened. He is the master of this domain. He feels through the warp the psychic anguish of his son. He feels Magnus on Prospero, surrounded by flames and wolves, realizing his folly. He feels the desperate, catastrophic reach. Magnus, in his agony and terror, is trying to warn him of Horus's betrayal. The memory shatters. It is no longer a memory. It is an event relived with the full, agonizing clarity of the present. A sound, not a sound, a breach. It is not a sound that ears can hear. It is a psychic shockwave that rips through the very fabric of the golden chamber, a screaming, tearing gale of pure impossibility. Magnus, in his desperation, did not knock. He did not use the door. He used his immense, untamed psychic power, amplified by a desperate bargain with Tzeentch, to smash his way directly into the Emperor's most delicate, most secret creation. He punched a hole from the raw madness of the warp directly into the protected tunnels of the Imperial webway. The vision is no longer from the Emperor's perspective. It is from the throne itself. He feels the wards. The psychic shields he had spent a century weaving, shields of pure, rational thought and willpower. He feels them crack, buckle, and then disintegrate. The silver light of the webway portal vanishes, consumed by a tide of shrieking magenta and indigo wrongness. The raw, unadulterated chaos of the Empyrean floods the golden tunnels. The screaming begins. He sees them. He feels them. The thousands of engineers, the tech priests, the artisans who had built this dream with him. They are consumed instantly. Their bodies are turned inside out. Their souls are unraveled like thread. They are dissolved, not just killed, but erased their very essences, devoured by the things that pour through the breach. Demons, pink and blue horrors, laughing and capering bolts of impossible energy, turning men to screaming crystal. Plague drones buzzing into the chamber, their riders chanting hymns of entropy. Great brass-clad beasts of blood roaring in triumph as they tear apart the golden custodies who stand against the tide. The memory is of pure, unadulterated failure. The dream is not just dead. It has become a gateway to hell. He feels the agonizing wrench. He cannot stay on the throne and power the shields. The breach is too vast. He must stand. He must fight. He must physically intervene to hold back the tide that his son, has unleashed. The vision is of him rising from the throne, golden armor blazing into existence over his robes, his sword the same one that unified terror ignites. But the worst of it is the realization. The cold, logical, inescapable truth. The gate is broken. The human webway is breached. The project is lost. The dream of a future free from chaos is dead, murdered by the very son he had tried to save from his own folly. And he is now chained. The memory is of him turning back to the golden throne. It is no longer an architect's tool. It is a life support system, a psychic dam. He sees himself sit for the first time as a prisoner. He must pour his entire galaxy-spanning will into this single point, not to create, but to contain, to hold the demonic tide at bay, to prevent the torrent of raw chaos from flooding the tunnels, from bursting out from beneath the palace, from turning terror itself into a demon world. He is trapped. The Great Crusade is over. The dream is dead. He feels the echo of Magnus's psychic cry, the message he had bled to high heaven to deliver Horus. Horus has turned. He is a traitor. The warning, the entire purpose of this catastrophic act is delivered. And in the memory, the Emperor's response is a single, galaxy-spanning wave of pure, cold fury and despair. I know, you have just doomed us all. The vision of the open webway, the symbol of hope, flickers. It is replaced by an image of a screaming, bloody maw held shut only by the agonizing, eternal sacrifice of his will. The Golden Age is over. The nightmare has begun. The scream of the broken webway. The maw of psychic torment begins to change. The sound dulls the visual tearing of reality curdles, shifting from the sharp magenta of Tsinch to a sickly, feverish, gangrenous green. The roar of demonic energy is replaced by the incessant, wet buzzing of corpse flies and a slow, rhythmic, ritualistic chant that seems to pulse from the very air. The memory is no longer of terror's golden tunnels. It is dark. It is a swamp. Davin. The name echoes in his consciousness like a suppurating wound. He is not there, not in the memory. His perspective is detached, floating a ghost watching a tragedy he can no longer stop. He sees a moon shrouded in a fog of pestilence, its light a sickly yellow. He sees a lodge, a foul, barbaric temple disguised as a warrior's hall. And he sees his son, Horus, not the glorious, charismatic demigod from the bridge of the vengeful spirit. This Horus is a man, a wounded, broken man. He lies upon a stone altar dying from a wound inflicted by a Xenos blade, the Anatham. The wound he can see is not just in his flesh. It is a spiritual poison, a cancer blooming in his very soul. He sees the figures moving in the shadows. Lorga's poisoned gift, the first chaplain of the Word-Bearers. Erebus. He watches Erebus lean close to his dying, feverish son, whispering. The words are poison, wrapped in the guise of fraternal concern. Whispers of the Emperor's ambition. Whispers that he had abandoned the crusade, abandoned his sons to forge his own secret godhood. Whispers that the great project on Terra was not for humanity, but for his own apotheosis, a throne from which he would rule men and Primarchs alike as a divine tyrant. He is a liar warmaster. He demands you remain a man while he seeks to become a god. He feels the echo of his own desperate, frantic attempt to intervene. From the golden throne, chained for the first time by the catastrophe Magnus had wrought, He had felt the flicker of his son's spirit, guttering like a candle in a gale. He had tried to reach out. He had projected his will across the galaxy, a golden spear of pure paternal warning. "Horus, my son! Do not listen. This is the enemy. This is the lie." The memory shows that golden light. It streaks across the immaterium, a comet of pure truth. But the warp is no longer a sea to be navigated. It is a roiling, hostile ocean, its currents now controlled by new masters. His light is slowed, it is buffeted, it is diverted, it is blocked. He watches his warning. His desperate plea arrived too late. When it finally smashes through the psychic storm, it is weak, distorted, flickering. It is no longer the clear voice of a father. To the fevered mind of Horus, it is a terrifying, overwhelming blast of golden, tyrannical power. He sees Erebus, his face a mask of false piety, point to the psychic intrusion. See, he is not a man. He is a tyrant. He seeks to control your very soul, to dominate your thoughts. He will not even let you die in peace. He watches Horus, his son, his first found, his pride. He watches him make the choice. He watches him accept the power offered by the whispers, the dark bargain for life and revenge. He watches the sickness fade, not healed, but consumed, replaced by a new, terrible, alien vitality. He watches his son's soul, the brightest in the galaxy, hollow itself out and become a gateway. He watches the ruinous powers, all four, pour themselves into the willing vessel that was Horus Lupercal. The betrayal is complete. It was not a choice made in strength or anger. It was a lie told to a dying man who was terrified and proud, a lie he wanted to believe. The green-fogged vision of Davin tears apart, ripped open by a sound. Not one scream, but billions. A chorus of simultaneous death. Istvan III. The memory is cold, clinical, orbital. He is looking down on a planet of his loyalists, sons of Horus, Death Guard, World Eaters, Emperor's children, all those who would not turn, all those who still held to the imperial truth. They are fighting glorious in their doomed, defiant brotherhood. Then he sees the ships, his legions. They unleash the virus. The Life Eater. The vision plunges into the atmosphere following the black canisters. He sees the planet's surface dissolve. He sees the biosphere collapse in seconds. He watches in horrific, microscopic detail as the virus touches a man. The skin sloughs, the muscles liquefy, the bones turn to brittle ash. He sees it happen to 1 million people at once. He sees Astartes, his perfect warriors, choking their own armor, dissolving their transhuman flesh, sloughing from their bones. He sees the firestorm as the virus-saturated atmosphere ignites a global inferno that scours the planet clean. He feels the death. He feels billions of souls, Astartes and civilian alike, being extinguished in a single agonizing moment. It is a holocaust enacted by his children against his children. He sees Angron, a chained, screaming animal of pure rage, landing amidst the charred survivors, his axes thirsty for the blood of his own sons. He sees Mortarion, his face impassive, calmly observing the perfect, lethal efficacy of the virus. He sees Fulgrim, his face ecstatic, laughing, finding a terrible, perfect beauty in the utter, flawless annihilation. This is the true horror. Not the virus, not the death, but the fact that his creations, the pinnacle of his genetic science, his Astartes, were capable of this. They were built to protect humanity, and here they were enacting its most profound slaughter. The imperial truth of reason and logic. What did it matter when this was the result? The burning sky of Istvan III curdles and melts. The memory is dragged kicking and screaming back to Terra, the siege. But the vision is not of the glorious, heroic duels on the battlements. It is not of Primarchs facing demons. It is not of the grand, tragic, heroic scale of the war. The dying mind of the Emperor in its agony focuses on the small things, the personal costs, the true failures. The vision is of a hab block deep within the palace walls, far from the front lines. The power has been out for weeks. It is dark. He sees a family huddled together in the cold. A mother, a father, 2 small children. They are starving. A shadow moves in the doorway. Not a traitor marine, not a demon, a citizen, a neighbor. His eyes are filmed with madness, his teeth filed to points. He wears a crude 8-pointed star daubed in his own blood. He is a cultist. The father tries to fight, tries to defend his family. He is weak. The cultist is upon him, driven by a dark new hunger. The Emperor watches helpless from his throne as the cultist begins to feed. The screams of the children are silent in the memory, but he hears them in his soul, an eternal echo. This is what the siege has done. It has turned his people into the very monsters they were meant to fight. The vision snaps again. A corridor of marble and gold. The inner palace. A place no enemy should ever have reached. A wave of immense, bloated, green-armored warriors, the Death Guard, have breached the final wards. He sees a single custodian. One of his golden guards, his perfect companions. The custodian is fighting a whirlwind of blazing gold and crimson. He is outnumbered 20 to 1. He kills, and kills, and kills. His blade is a blur, his movements flawless. But they keep coming. A plague blade crusted with unlife scratches his arm. The Auramite armor holds but a single drop of diseased psychic fluid, touches the elbow joint. The custodian falters. His perfect superhuman movements become sluggish. His golden armor begins to bubble and corrode, turning a verdigris green. He falls, not from a fatal blow but from an infection. He sees the custodian on his knees, his perfect genetically engineered body rotting alive inside his inviolate armor. He sees the look in his eyes as a Death Guard marine, bloated and laughing, raises a bolter. It is not fear. It is not anger. It is confusion. A profound fundamental offense that this filth could possibly be here, that it could possibly be winning. The bolt shell hits. The golden helmet explodes. The lie of Horus was not just his betrayal. The lie was that the Emperor's creations were strong enough. The lie was that reason could ever stand against this tide of primordial filth. The lie was that any of it mattered in the end. The vision of the fallen custodian remains burning. The Emperor's dying mind latches onto this single agonizing failure. His perfect guardian dead in his own home because of his favored son. The vision of the dead custodian, a golden armored monument to his failure, dissolves. The marble corridor of the palace, stained with Nurgle's filth, melts away. The memory snaps back to the rain, back to the ashes. Monarchia. He is there again, looking down at his weeping son. But this is not the memory of Chapter 2. The dying emperor is not reliving his confidence. He is reliving his mistake. He sees Lorga kneeling in the mud, at his face a mask of utter soul-crushing despair. He sees the Lectitio Divinitatus, the book Lorga had written, smouldering in the ash. He remembers his own words, cold as the void. I did not ask for your worship. I asked for your truth. But now, 10,000 years later, the god on the throne sees. He sees the need. It radiates from Lorga a psychic hunger that is quintessentially human. Lorga was not just a Primarch. He was the avatar of humanity's deepest flaw, the desperate, unquenchable need for a higher power. A need to believe. A need for faith. Humanity was a psychic race, their emotions and beliefs shaping the immaterium. They were born to believe. And he, in his cold, materialist, logical pride, had demanded they deny their very nature. I gave you logic, he thinks his dying mind, a cold mirror of self-recrimination. I offered you a universe of cold, rational equations, and you were a creature of poetry, of spirit, of need. He watches the memory of himself, a golden, merciless figure, turn his back on his weeping son. He had seen it as a lesson, a necessary, painful correction. He sees it now for what it was, an amputation. He had created a vacuum in Lorgar's soul and in the soul of humanity. He had, with his own hands, ripped out their flawed, superstitious hearts, and in doing so, He had left a perfect God-shaped void. The vision of Lorga's weeping face flickers. The sound of rain on ashes is suddenly drowned out by a new sound, the roar of a great fire and the shriek of a woman. The memory of Monarchia is ripped away, replaced by the suffocating reality of the 41st millennium. A pyre, a massive crackling bonfire in the central plaza of a shrine world. A man is tied to the stake. He is screaming. Before him stands a woman in polished white and gold power armor, a sister of battle. Her face, framed by a short bob of white hair, is beautiful, and it is contorted in a mask of ecstatic, righteous fury. She holds a flamer, its pilot light a tiny, angry blue eye. She is not looking at the heretic. She is looking at the sky. She is looking at him. God Emperor! She screams, her voice cracking with the force of her fanaticism. In your name, we purge the unclean. We offer this soul to your holy fire. Accept our sacrifice. Grant us your strength. The man on the pyre babbles a final, terrified plea. The sister of battle pulls the trigger. A torrent of promethium engulfs the man, and his screams are cut short, replaced by the wet, sizzling roar of the flames. The worst part is not the sight. The worst part is the feeling. He is the anathema. He is the beacon. All psychic energy, all faith is drawn to him. As the sister screams her prayer, he feels it. It is not the gentle, warming light of hope. It is a spike, a jolt of raw, unprocessed, violent psychic energy. It slams into his overloaded consciousness on the throne. It burns. Her faith is a weapon. Her devotion is a psychic razor. It is an agony, a torment of belief that is the polar opposite of his imperial truth. And it is paradox equally power. This twisted, agonizing, fanatical energy, this psychic runoff from a trillion burning pyres, flows into the Astronomicon. It sustains the beacon. It helps him hold the demonic tide in the webway at bay. He is being kept alive by the very thing he fought to destroy. He is being force-fed the poison of faith, and it is the only thing that sustains his unlife. He is the god of an empire. He never wanted a god worshipped by killers and fanatics who commit atrocities in his name. The vision of the sister. Her face, alight with holy fire, begins to melt. Her features warp. The white and gold armor darkens, becoming a deep, bruised crimson, covered in screaming, blasphemous script. The vision shifts. It leaves the shrine world and plunges into the eye of terror. He sees a demon world, Sycharis, a planet of black stone where the cathedrals are built from the screaming, living bodies of the damned. And on a throne of twisted spines sits Lorga. He is no longer the weeping boy. He is a giant, a demon primarch. His crimson armor is fused to his flesh, his skin a parchment of tattooed prayers that writhe and whisper with their own dark life. He is beautiful. He is monstrous. He is not fighting. He is not raging. He is looking at a map, a shimmering psychic representation of the galaxy now split in two by the Great Rift. And Lorga is smiling. It is not the snarl of a madman. It is the deep, satisfied, profound smile of an architect who has seen his life's work come to fruition. He looks up as if sensing the gaze of his dying father across the currents of time and space. His voice no longer pleading echoes in the Emperor's mind, resonant with the dark power of the primordial truth. You see, Father Lorgar's mental voice is calm, reasonable, almost gentle. You tried to build an empire of reason. You failed. I built an empire of faith, and it has endured for 10,000 years. It spans the stars. A vision of the burning sister flashes in the Emperor's mind. They all worship you now, Lorgar continues, his smile widening. They scream your name as they kill. They scream your name as they die. They burn the non-believer and the questioner. Your imperial truth is a forgotten joke, a line in an obscure text. I have made you a god just as I always knew you were. The Daemon Primarch raises a hand as if in a toast. Horus tried to kill your body. He failed. I aimed for your soul, for your dream, and I won. The vision fades, leaving the Emperor with the most horrific realization of all. The Horus heresy was a military failure. This was a spiritual one. Horus had tried to kill him. Elorga had succeeded in destroying his dream. The smug, triumphant, demonic face of Lorga fades. The vision of the victorious word-bearer, the architect of his spiritual defeat, is consumed by a new, colder, more immediate reality. The darkness of the Eye of Terror is replaced by the cold, iron-grey hold of a ship. It is vast, cavernous, and silent, save for the hum of Geller fields and the distant rhythmic sobbing of children. This is a black ship, the talons of justice. The memory is not his, but one he is stealing, siphoning from the mind of a sacrifice. He sees them, thousands of them, huddled in the cavernous, unlit hold. They are psychers, the tithe of 100 worlds. There are old men, their eyes burning with a power they never understood, mumbling prophecies to the bulkhead. There are women curled into tight balls, weeping their hands bound in psychic dampening manacles. And there are the children. So many children. They are small, terrified, ripped from their families. They are the nascent, uncontrolled psychic potential of the human race. They are the future he had once tried to shepherd. Now they are fuel. The vision follows one. A young girl no older than 10. Her name is Ilara. She is from a backwater agri-world. She had a gift. She could make the crops grow faster. She could soothe the groks. She was a blessing until the black ship came. He sees her dragged from her mother's arms by the cold, black-armored figures of the Sisters of Silence. He sees her confusion, her terror, her uncomprehending grief. The vision shifts. The ship has docked. The great doors of the hold grind open, revealing the impossible, suffocating scale of the Sanctum Imperialis on Terra. The air is thick with the smell of incense and ozone. Ilara is marched one in a long, shuffling line of thousands through corridors of gold and black marble. They are brought to a chamber, the chamber of the Golden Throne. But they do not see the throne room as the custodes do. They do not see the gilded artistry. They are psychers. They see the reality. Through Ilara's eyes, the Emperor sees himself. He is not a golden, shining god. He is a psychic vortex, a screaming, incandescent sun of pure, agonizing power. He is a black hole of need. The room is a vast machine of soul engines, and he is the furnace at its heart. The vision becomes personal, intimate. He feels Ilara's terror as she is strapped into a bronze and iron harness. She is part of a great circle of 1,000 other psychers, all facing the throne. Wires and silver needles are pushed into her spine, into her skull. She is connected. She sees him, not the corpse. She sees his mind. For one fraction of a second, she is exposed to the Emperor's consciousness. She sees the Golden Dream. She sees the Great Crusade. She sees the fall of Horus. She sees 10,000 years of unending silent war against the dark. She sees the necessity. Her terror is replaced by a sudden, soul-crushing awe, a comprehension. It's all for us, she whispers, her mind touching his. And then the connection is made. The machine activates. The memory is of pure, unadulterated annihilation. He feels Ilara's soul. He feels her small, nascent spark of a mind. And he feels it being burned. She is tinder thrown onto a star. Her consciousness, her memories of her farm, her mother's face, her gift with the groks, all of it is incinerated in a nanosecond, consumed, vaporized into raw psychic energy. Her scream is a psychic shriek that joins a chorus of 1,000 others. This is the fuel. This is the price of the Astronomicon. The vision pulls back away from the intimate, horrific death of a single child. It soars up out of the palace, out of the atmosphere, into the void. He sees the galaxy. He sees the roiling, chaotic hellscape of the warp, and through that storm he sees the beam. His light, the Astronomicon. It is not a golden, hopeful beam. It is a torrent of screaming, agonized souls. It is a geyser of Ilara's vaporized spirit, a lighthouse fueled by the death of 1,000 children every single day. The vision focuses on a single battered Imperial Navy cruiser, the Faithful Heart, lost in the warp. Its Geller fields are flickering. Demonic faces press against the hull, whispering promises of mutiny and madness to the crew. The navigator, his third eye weeping blood, is lost, blinded by the warp storms, and then he sees it. The light. To the navigator, it is not a scream. It is not the pyre of 1,000 children. It is a single pure golden note of stability. It is salvation. It is the God Emperor's hand guiding him home. He is with us. The navigator cries, his faith restored. He shouts a new course to the helm. The faithful heart turns its engines roaring and follows the beacon. It follows Ilara's scream. It follows the path of her sacrifice. The vision snaps back to the throne room. The ashes of 1,000 souls, their psychic imprint erased, are uncoupled from the machine. The process is over. For today, he feels the brief surge of power, the stabilization of the beacon. The demonic tide in the webway is held back for one more day. The faithful heart is safe. Humanity is safe. He is the lighthouse, and he is the pyre. He is the savior, and he is the devourer. This is the imperial truth of the 41st millennium. Not reason, not logic. It is a cold, monstrous equation of sacrifice. 1,000 souls for 1,000,000. 1,000,000 for 1,000,000,000. And the most terrible part of the memory, the part that twists in his dying mind, is this. It is necessary. It is the only way. This brutal, horrific, endless sacrifice is the only thing keeping humanity from extinction. This truth is more cruel, more absolute than any lie Lorgar could ever have conceived. The agonizing, necessary scream of the Astronomicon fades, but the feeling of loss remains, concentrating, personalizing. The pain of 1,000 sacrificed children, a constant dull roar, is suddenly eclipsed by a singular, sharp, piercing grief. The memory is of a blade, a golden two-headed axe, Sangvit. The vision is not his own. It is a premonition. The vision he gave to his son. He sees the galaxy through the sorrowful, beautiful eyes of Sanguinius. He feels the weight of the future, the certain agonizing knowledge of his own death. The vision is of the Eternity Gate, the final, desperate bastion of the Imperial Palace. It is swarming with the refuse of hell, a tide of demons and traitors. He sees Sanguinius, his glorious white wings stained with blood and filth, standing alone against the horde. He is the last barrier. He sees his angel, his purest son, look up at the vengeful spirit hanging in the orbital sky, a bloated star of pure malice. He knows Horus is waiting. He knows with absolute prophetic certainty that to go up there is to die. There is no hesitation. He sees Sanguinius gather his strength. He sees him look down at the mortals he is defending, a look of infinite, sorrowful love. While I live, Sanguinius's voice echoes not a shout, but a promise: you will not fall. He sees him leap, a comet of white and gold smashing through the traitor lines, ascending to the sky to his doom, a willing sacrifice. The vision cuts violently. The glorious ascent is gone. The new image is of a floor, the bridge of the vengeful spirit. It is a place of warped metal, of screaming faces in the bulkheads of reality itself bleeding. And on that floor lies a broken thing. It is Sanguinius. The memory is his own now. His own eyes seeing what Horus had done. The white armor is shattered, splintered like porcelain. The face, once the most beautiful of all his sons, is a ruin of blood and pulverized bone. The wings are not just broken. They are ripped from his back, discarded like refuse. He is not just dead. He is butchered. He is a message, a trophy. Of all the memories, this one is the most real. The 10,000 years of torment, the agony of the throne, the screams of the psychers, none of it compares to this. This is the pain that broke his concentration. This is the grief that allowed Horus to wound him. It is not the anger of a king, but the raw, animalistic agony of a father. This was his best, his purest. The son who saw the future and flew into it anyway, all for the sake of a failing dream. The pain of this memory is a physical weight crushing his dying consciousness. The image of the angel's broken body warps as if seen through a heat haze. The red of Sanguinius's armor, the crimson of his blood, melts and shifts, becoming a sick, pale, corroded green. The vision shifts. He is no longer on the vengeful spirit. He is looking at a fog-shrouded world, the plague planet. A shape lumbers out of the miasma. It is a giant far larger than any Astartes. Its armor, once the proud grey of the Death Guard, is now a rusted, bubbling greenish white. Its flesh, where it is visible, is a landscape of boils, sores, and weeping wounds. A pair of vast, rotting, insectile wings unfolds leaking clouds of buzzing, demonic flies. Mortarion, his son, the Lord of Death, the one who had despised psychers, who had hated the warp with such cold, rational fury, the son who had embodied endurance. And here he is, a slave to the very thing he hated. A prince of pestilence, a bloated avatar of the entropy he had once sought to defy. He is no longer a stoic general. He is a thing, a monstrous, diseased creature ringing a rusted bell, counting his plagues, lost in a grandiose delusion of his own, making a perfect prisoner in Nurgle's garden. The vision of Mortarion fades, the sound of the buzzing flies replaced by the crackle of arcane energy. The memory snaps to a different world. Sortiarius, the planet of the sorcerers. A colossal crystalline labyrinth reflects a sky of screaming, multicolored fire, and at its center he sees him. Magnus, his crimson-skinned son. The scholar, the one whose folly had doomed the great project. He is no longer a seeker of knowledge. He is a conduit for it. He is a puppet, his strings held by Tzinch. His flesh is no longer stable, shifting, sprouting extra limbs, eyes, mouths, only to reabsorb them. He is a creature of pure, unbound, meaningless change. He watches Magnus pore over a tome of impossible futures, laughing one moment in triumph, screaming the next in perceived failure, a madman locked in a library of his own making. He is the thing he always feared, a tool. The dying emperor looks upon these two. His iron-willed son, now a slave to decay. His brilliant son, now a slave to madness. He feels no anger. The fire of that emotion burned out millennia ago. There is only a vast, cold, empty ocean of failure. He had engineered them. He had crafted their minds and bodies. He had created Mortarion to be the unshakable anchor. He had created Magnus to be the shining intellect. He had made them to be great. And their greatness, their very nature, had been the flaw. Mortarion's defiance became his prison. Magnus's thirst for knowledge became his chain. He had designed the keys to their own damnation. The vision of the demon sons dissolves like oil on water. The memory softens, becoming a place of deep, silent slumber. He sees a chamber deep within a vast, space-borne fortress of black stone. The Rock. He sees a figure asleep on a simple bier. Lionel Johnson, his first son. The Lion. The Protector. He is not dead. He is not a daemon. He is just sleeping. Unchanged by the millennia, his long blonde hair undisturbed, his armor pristine. He is waiting. Waiting for a call that may never come. He is a sword without a hand, a shield in an empty room. The vision of the sleeping lion fades, replaced by the howling, chaotic winds of the Eye of Terror. He sees a ship, a battered, ancient battle barge Hrafnkel. It plows the impossible seas of the Empyrean. On its prow he sees a figure, a fur-clad barbarian king howling back at the storm. Leman Russ, his executioner, his loyal savage wolf. He is not sleeping. He is hunting. He is lost adrift in the heart of his enemy's territory, searching for a cure, a penance, a final glorious battle. He has been gone for 10,000 years. The lion and the wolf, his loyal sons. One is asleep, useless. The other is lost, unreachable. The loyal are gone. The traitors are ascendant. His sons, his greatest creations, his primarchs, they were the pillars of his dream. And in his dying vision he sees them all for what they are. A butchered angel, a bloated monster, a mad puppet, a sleeping knight, a lost hunter. They are all in their own ways utterly and completely lost. The personal, intimate grief for his lost sons dissolves, evaporating like water on a hot stone. The pain does not lessen, but it expands, decentralizing from the failure of his family to the vast systemic failure of his dream of peace. The vision is no longer of a single place or person. It is a torrent of alien horror, a flood of images stolen from the minds of the psychers. He consumes a real-time report of the 41st millennium. The golden dream was of a galaxy united of humanity, ascendant of the end of strife. The reality he now sees, the nightmare that has replaced his dream, is a galaxy that knows only one singular, grinding, eternal truth war. The vision is cold, colder than the void. He is looking at a world from orbit, a lush, green, agri-world, paradise. Then he sees the shadow. It falls over the planet, a living, writhing darkness that eclipses the local sun. It is a ship. No, not a ship. An organism. A biovessel of impossible scale, a kraken of the void trailing tentacles miles long, and behind it a swarm. A cloud of billions of smaller organisms blotting out the stars. The Tyranids. The vision plunges to the surface. He sees the creatures. They are nightmares of chitin claw and tooth, a tide of biological hunger. They are not demons. They do not hate. They do not have ambition. They simply are. They are the universe's ultimate, uncaring predators. He sees a farm family, the same kind. He had seen starving during the siege, cut down by a wave of gaunts, their bodies ripped apart, their biomass consumed. He sees a Lehman Russ tank, a pillar of imperial strength, overwhelmed by a towering carnifex that peels it open like a ration can. The vision pulls back, and he sees the planet die. The great swarm lands. The vegetation is consumed. The oceans are drunk dry by colossal capillary towers. The atmosphere is siphoned away. In a matter of days, the lush green world is a grey, airless, sterile rock. And the hive fleet, now larger, its biomass replenished, moves on. He feels a sensation he has not felt in millennia. Not anger, not sorrow, a cold, primal dread. This is an enemy he cannot reason with, cannot corrupt, cannot outthink. It is a rival ecosystem. It is a hunger that threatens to devour the very galaxy he sought to claim. The grey, dead rock of the Tyranid-scoured world bleeds, turning a muddy, bloody, industrial green-brown. The vision snaps to Armageddon. The sound is a constant, deafening, guttural roar. Away! The sound of a billion orcs, joyous in their singular purpose to fight. He sees trenches miles long defended by millions of Imperial guardsmen. They are Cadian. Their faces are grim, their discipline perfect even after their homeworld is gone. They are the steel spine of his Imperium, and he watches them die. They are swept over by a green tide, a wave of muscle, crude choppers and sputtering sluggers. The orcs are laughing. They are enjoying this. For every orc that falls, two more seem to take its place, energized by the pure psychic gestalt of the battle. This is not a war for territory. This is not a war of ideology. This is a war against a biological force of nature, a sentient, joyful plague of violence. He sees a Gargant, a crude walking mockery of his own titans, firing wildly its explosions, as deadly to its own troops as to the enemy. It doesn't matter. The tide is endless. His dream was of peace of an end to the brutal, savage impulses of Old Night. The orcs are Old Night, given form, a species that exists only for the joy of brutal, endless combat. They are the antithesis of his every goal. They are war itself made flesh. The smoke-choked sky of Armageddon freezes. The motion stops. The laughter of the orcs is silenced. A new light appears. An eerie, cold, green light. The vision changes, a tomb. He is deep underground on a dead world that has not seen life in 60 million years. He sees a crypt, metal walls etched with circuits that hum with a cold, dead power. A figure rises from a sarcophagus. It is not flesh, it is metal, a perfect silver skeletal form. Its eyes ignite with a green, soulless light. The Necron. He remembers them. The ancient enemy. The foe of the old ones, the reason the webway was first built. The race that had bartered their souls for immortality and received only this cold metal undeath in return. He had thought them gone buried, a forgotten footnote. He was wrong. The vision shows a Necron phalanx advancing. They do not run. They do not shout. They walk. Their gorse flares fire beams of green energy. He watches a space marine, one of his ultramarines, get hit. There is no explosion, no blood. The marine unravels. He is stripped apart, molecule by molecule, his armor, his flesh, his bones turning to glittering dust in a single, silent, horrifying second. This is the enemy he knew from the dawn of time. An enemy of perfect, cold, emotionless technology. A technological truth that rivals his own. They see humanity not as a threat, not as food, not as a plaything. They see humanity as vermin. An infestation on the worlds that were once theirs to be cleansed with passionless, perfect efficiency. The tyrannid hunger, the orc savagery, the Necron's cold, ancient claim. His dying mind reels. His crusade. His great plan to unite humanity had been a fool's errand. He had been clearing the board, not realizing that new, more terrible players were waiting in the wings. He had fought a war against superstition only to awaken a galaxy of monsters. His dream of a rational, human-centric galaxy is a joke. The reality is, this humanity is not the heir to the galaxy. It is a single guttering candle surrounded on all sides by an ancient alien darkness. And it is about to be snuffed out. The vision of the silent marching Necrons. A cold green-lit tide of inevitability shatters like glass. The sterile metallic hum of the tomb is ripped apart by a sound that is not a sound. It is a scream, a cackle, a sigh and a bellow all at once. The external threats, the alien horrors dissolve. The vision plunges inward back into the Empyrean, back to the true enemy, the great enemy, the architects of his failure. He is no longer just remembering. His dying, weakened consciousness is being invaded. They are here in his final dream to gloat. The Four. The world reforms. He is back in the golden tunnels of the Imperial Webway, but they are not golden. They are wrong. The walls are not stable gold and crystal. They are shifting, iridescent, crystalline structures that reflect 1,000 contradictory futures. The path ahead is a maze, a puzzle box of impossible angles. He sees Magnus, his demon Primarch son, sitting on a throne of twisted light, laughing at a joke only he understands. A voice, 1,000 voices whispering in perfect, discordant unison fills his mind. It is Tzeentch, the changer of ways. Such a clever plan. The voice whispers its tone, one of false academic admiration. A rational galaxy, a humanity safe from the warp, a secret golden path to salvation. The crystalline walls shimmer, showing him the moment Magnus broke the wards. Did you really think it was your plan? Did you, the great anathema, the avatar of order, believe for 1 second that you could build a fortress within my realm without my permission? The ambition to build it, the genius to conceive it, the pride that drove you, that was all me. The labyrinth of Tzeentch tightens around him. Your great work was my masterpiece. You built the lock. You forged the key. And I guided your brightest, most arrogant son to smash the door open at the precise, perfect moment. You didn't just fail to save humanity from the warp, little god. You built the most glorious, beautiful gateway for me. Your imperial truth was always just my most complicated lie. The shifting, maddening crystals dissolve, melting into a landscape of rot. The vision changes. He is no longer in the webway. He is on the golden throne. He can see his own body, the mummified skeletal husk, the very image of decay. The air is thick with the buzzing of flies, the scent of 1 billion trillion diseases. A new voice, a grandfatherly, wet, loving chuckle echoes in the chamber. It is Nurgle, the Lord of Plagues. "Oh, my poor stubborn child," the voice coos thick with a terrible possessive affection. "Still fighting, still struggling, 10,000 years. You must be so tired." A vision of Mortarion, his bloated demon son, flashes. "You wanted progress. You wanted change. You wanted your perfect, sterile, static future. You rejected the most beautiful part of existence." He feels a phantom sensation, a single fly landing on his desiccated, unfeeling hand. Decay. Entropy. The inevitable, beautiful cycle of life, death, and rebirth. You fight so hard against the inevitable. Look at you. You are the perfect icon of stagnation, a rotting corpse clinging to a failing machine. You are in my house, little anathema. You have been in my house ever since that first cell on Terra learned to die. The voice becomes a wheedling, tempting whisper. Just let go. It would be so easy. Stop fighting. Stop hurting. Accept the rot. Accept the end. Find your peace. Come rest in grandfather's arms. It's all right. It's all over. The temptation to stop, to finally let the agony end, is a physical, seductive weight. He resists. The vision of decay is ripped apart by a deafening, brassy roar. The throne room is gone. He is on a mountain of skulls. A red sky, choked with the smoke of 1 billion burning worlds, looms above. The very ground crunches underfoot. A massive figure, a god of brass and blood, sits on a throne of bone. He does not speak. He roars. It is a sound of pure, unadulterated, glorious rage. Khorne, the blood god. His meaning is clear, projected not in words but in pure, primal emotion. He is being mocked. Khorne laughs at the imperial truth, the idea of a galaxy of reason and peace. The blood god points with a clawed brass gauntlet at the emperor. Peace, the concept screams in his mind. Your great crusade was the most glorious bloody war this galaxy has ever known. Your Astartes, your angels of reason, are the most perfect killing machines ever conceived. You drowned worlds in blood in the name of compliance. Visions of Istvan, of Monarchia, of 1,000 forgotten battles flash all slick with gore. You are the greatest warlord of all time. Your Imperium is a monument to me. Every guardsman who dies in a trench, every bolt shell fired, every chain sword that bites flesh in your name. The blood flows. It all flows to me. The blood god roars in triumphant laughter. Your dream of peace forged an empire of eternal, total war. You are my greatest, most unwitting champion, anathema. The mountain of skulls crumbles. The red sky melts into a sickening, electric, cloying purple. The sensation is one of falling. He is in a place of sensory overload. The air smells of 1 million exotic, impossible perfumes, each one cloying addictive. The sound is a symphony of exquisite torture and ecstatic moans. He sees Fulgrim, his demon son, a multi-limbed serpentine horror reclining on silks, watching his legion. The Emperor's children inflict perfect artistic torments on captive souls. A voice, an androgynous, seductive whisper that is felt on the skin, not heard by the ears, slithers into his consciousness. Slaanesh, the Prince of Pleasure. Such ambition, the voice sighs, full of a breathless, ecstatic awe. To conquer the galaxy, to master reality, to defy death, to declare yourself the master of mankind, to try and build a perfect, flawless, unfeeling utopia. The whisper traces the outlines of his withered form on the throne. You were the ultimate perfectionist, the ultimate ego. You strove for an impossible excess, an absolute control that is the very essence of my being. The voice is at his ear, intimate, terrifying. That pride, that hubris, to think you one man could become a god. Oh, you are divine, my love. You are the pinnacle of selfish, obsessive, glorious ambition. You are the greatest monument to pride in this or any reality. You, the four voices whisper, blending into a cacophonic chorus that tears at his sanity, are ours. Your plan was my plan. Your stagnation is my garden. Your war is my worship. Your pride is my perfection. You did not fail, they laugh. You succeeded. You built the very hell you sought to avoid. The combined assault of their mockery, their terrible, inescapable truth, is a greater torment than the throne. His mind. His final dream begins to buckle. The nightmare is winning. The cacophony of the laughing gods, the storm of their terrible, twisted logic reaches a crescendo. The vision of Slanesh's pleasure hell corns, Skull Mountain, Nurgle's garden, and Tzeentch's maze collapses inward. His mind is raw, exposed, defeated. The nightmare has consumed his memory of the dream. And now the nightmare shows him the present, the final crushing act of his failure. The vision is of a black sky, choked with a fleet so vast it is a constellation of malice. The Black Fleet. And at its head a ship of impossible, ancient, terrible power. The Vengeful Spirit. He sees him, the heir of Horus, the despoiler, Abaddon clad in the black and gold of his stolen legacy. His face a mask of 10,000 years of pure, undiluted hatred. He is the failure of Horus, given focus, given time, made perfect. And before him one world, Cadia. The vision is of the fortress world, the bastion that has stood for 10 millennia, the cork in the bottle of the Eye of Terror. He sees the endless, sprawling fortresses, the kilometers of trenches, the sky, black with anti-aircraft fire. He sees the faces of the defenders. Cadian shock troops. Their purple eyes wide not with fear, but with a terrible suicidal resolve. They know what they are. They are a wall. He sees their leader, Creed, the Lord General, a mortal man. A man of tactical genius, of stubborn, impossible human will. He is moving regiments like pieces on a board, plugging holes, countering every move, holding back the apocalypse through sheer gritty determination. For a moment a spark of the old golden dream flickers. This is it. This is the humanity he fought for. Not superstitious, not fanatical, but resolute. A humanity that stands logical and brave against the howling dark. The Cadians hold. The demonic tide is stemmed. The Black Fleet is stalled. The sheer indomitable will of mortal man is holding the line. The vision focuses on Abaddon on the bridge of his flagship. The despoiler is not raging. He is not screaming. He is looking at the unfolding battle at the stalemate. And he smiles. He gives an order. Not an order for a new assault, not a tactical maneuver. He gives an order to the Blackstone Fortress, the will of eternity. The vision shifts. He sees the ancient Xenos built weapon of ultimate destruction. It is not firing. It is moving. Its engines ignite a black-hearted comet, and it accelerates. It turns its prow away from the Imperial fleet and points it down at the planet. Creed sees it. The Cadians see it. He feels their collective psychic gasp of realization. He's not trying to take the planet. The dying Emperor's mind whispers in horror. He's trying to kill it. The memory is of the impact. It is silent. A profound, world-ending thud. The Blackstone Fortress, a weapon the size of a continent, strikes Cadia. The vision is of the planet's crust buckling. It is a fault line splitting open, vomiting magma. It is of the pylons, the ancient, mysterious structures that held the Eye of Terror in check, shattering. The dam breaks. The vision is no longer of Cadia. It is from the Golden Throne. He feels it. He is the lighthouse, the anathema, the psychic anchor of the galaxy. And he feels the anchor rip. With the destruction of the pylons, the Eye of Terror, the single greatest concentration of chaos energy in the galaxy, explodes. It does not just expand, it detonates. He feels a tear. A rip not in a planet, but in reality itself. It starts at the Eye of Terror. It rips across the galaxy a wave of empiric fire and raw, screaming madness. It cuts the Imperium in half. This is the Cicatrix Maledictum, the Great Rift. From his throne, he sees it. He sees the light of his own Astronomicon, his beacon of screaming sacrificed children gutter. The rift is a shadow, a curtain of psychic static, a wall of impossibility. His light cannot cross it. The vision becomes a split screen of pure, unadulterated horror. On one side, Imperium Sanctus. His side, the side his light still reaches. It is a bastion besieged, clinging to the beacon. On the other, Imperium Nihilus, the Dark Imperium. He sees 1 trillion human souls in a single instant cut off. The light is gone. The navigators are blind. The Geller fields are failing. The astropaths are screaming, their minds exploding as the shadow passes over them. He sees worlds that have known his light for 10,000 years, plunged into total, absolute darkness. And he sees what comes out of that darkness. He sees demonic invasions, not on one world, but on 1,000,000 worlds simultaneously. He sees Mortarion striding from the rift, his plagues washing over an entire segmentum. He sees Magnus laughing as he pulls whole star systems into the warp. He sees Angron reborn, a whirlwind of blood. He sees the laughter of Lorga echoing from 1 trillion new cults rising up in the dark. This is the final, ultimate failure. His dream was to unite humanity. The galaxy is now physically irrevocably split in two. His dream was to save humanity from the warp. He is now the helpless spectator as half of his Imperium is consumed by it. His dream was to bring the light of reason. His light, the only light, is now blocked. The dream is not just dead. It has been inverted. The nightmare is no longer a vision. It is the map. It is the new, terrible, unavoidable reality. Cadia is gone. The line has broken. The final failure is complete. And the dying emperor on his throne is now the king of a shattered, halved, and truly, utterly damned kingdom. The vision of the galaxy torn in two by the screaming black wound of the cicatrix maledictum is a canvas of absolute despair. The final crushing total failure. The dream is over. The nightmare is reality. His consciousness, shattered by this ultimate defeat, begins to unravel. The 10,000-year fight is over. The temptation of Nurgle, the sweet, seductive whisper of letting go, returns. It is time to die. It is time to let the darkness win. And then, a spark. It is not his spark. It is something else. A flicker of cold, blue, logical light igniting in the darkness of Imperium Sanctus. The vision which had collapsed into a galaxy-spanning map of horror suddenly focuses. It plunges like a falling star away from the great rift, past Terra, into the heart of Ultramar. It finds a chamber, a high marble hall on Macragge. It finds a suit of armor, a magnificent Baroque blue and gold suit of armor plugged into a thrumming arcane machine. It finds a man, Robutagilimon, his son, the avenging son, the Lord of Ultramar, the logician, the builder, the son he had believed dead for 10,000 years, slain by the poisoned blade of Fulgrim. He is not dead. The vision is of the final desperate act. He sees the Eldari, the Xenos, the ancient treacherous enemy. He sees Ivrain, the priestess of the whispering death god, perform her ritual. He sees the arcane technology of Belisarius Cael, his own errant heretical servant, force life back into the Primarch's stasis-locked body. He feels the moment Guilliman's eyes open. He feels the shock. It is a psychic blast as potent as any weapon. It is not the shock of waking. It is the shock of seeing. Through his son's newly opened eyes, he sees the chamber. It is not a sterile logical strategium. It is a shrine. He sees the icons of the imperial cult. He sees the weeping, praying priests. He sees the Aquila twisted into a symbol of blind religious devotion. He feels Guilliman's dawning icy horror. What have you done? What have you done to it all? The Son of Reason has awoken in a galaxy of madness. The vision accelerates. He feels Guilliman's desperate, brilliant, logical mind work. He sees him fight his way from Macragge. He sees him grasp the scale of the disaster, the horror of the Great Rift, the state of the Imperium. He feels the cold, pragmatic acceptance. The grief is there, but it is suppressed, locked away, a luxury he cannot afford. There is only the work. The vision snaps. It is no longer Macragge, it is terror. It is the throne room. The vision is now from his own perspective. The real perspective. He is the rotting, screaming god on the throne. And before him, small, insignificant against the impossible scale of the machine, is a giant in blue armor. Robert Guilliman, his son, has returned. He is here, standing where Sanguinius stood, standing where Horus should have stood. Guilliman is not praying. He is not weeping. He is looking. He is analyzing. His cold, logical eyes are studying the mummified corpse, the web of cables, the vast soul-feeding engine. He is looking at his father, and he is seeing a system. A failed, agonizing, necessary system. Their minds touch. It is not a conversation, it is a collision. Guilliman's mind projects images, data, the Great Rift, the state of the fleets, the Demon Primarchs, Mortarion, Magnus, the return of the traitor legions, the Imperium Nihilus, the failing light. He is reporting. He is a general presenting the strategic reality to his superior, and he is asking a single desperate unspoken question, the question that has haunted him since he awoke. Father, are you in there? What do I do? The Emperor's consciousness, his dying, fragmented, dreaming mind rallies. The despair, the failure, the mockery of the gods, it all recedes. The vision of Lorgar, the ghosts of Sanguinius and Horus, they are burned away by this one present living fact. A loyal son has returned. A tool has returned. He has no voice to speak. He has no words left. His imperial truth is a dead language. He has only one thing left. The one thing that has kept him on this throne for 10 millennia. Will. He gathers it. He gathers the pain, the sacrifice of Alara, the agony of his own existence. He focuses it into a single, brutal, cold, psychic command. It is not a greeting. It is not a comfort. It is not the absolution of a father. It is the order of a dying god. Fight, hold, it together. He projects the sheer, unadulterated necessity of the sacrifice. He shows Guilliman the demonic maw in the webway waiting beneath their feet. He shows him what happens if the throne fails, if the Astronomicon goes dark. Total. Instant annihilation. He forces his son to feel for one fraction of a second the weight of the daily agonizing sacrifice. He feels Guilliman's mind recoil. The vision is of his son staggering back. His hand raised as if to ward off a physical blow. He sees the realization dawn in his son's eyes. This is the final agonizing truth of the memory. Guilliman understands. His father is gone. The man, the scientist, the teacher, the being he had followed and tried to understand, that being is dead. It died on Horus's flagship. It was buried in this throne. What remains is this: a force, a psychic furnace, a ruthless, monstrous, necessary will to survive, an engine of sacrifice that sees even a Primarch not as a son, as a person, but as one more component in the great failing machine of the Imperium. He sees the last spark of hope die in Guilliman's eyes. He sees the cold, pragmatic grief of the strategist take its place. The avenging son is truly alone. Guilliman in the vision straightens his back. He clasps his gauntleted fist over his chest, a salute not to a father, but to a duty, to a terrible, impossible fact. He accepts his role, not as a son, not as an heir, as the Lord Commander, the Imperial Regent, the prime servant of the Imperium, the custodian of a living corpse, and the shepherd of a nightmare. The vision of Guilliman turning his back, his blue cloak sweeping as he marches out of the throne room to fight a war he knows he cannot win, is the first new memory the Emperor has had in 10,000 years. It is not a memory of hope, it is a memory of purpose. The sacrifice continues, but now it is shared. The vision of Guilliman, a solitary blue giant marching to an unwinnable war, fades. His purpose, his cold, logical, shared duty resonates in the Emperor's consciousness. But it is one man, one light. The dying mind, now fully awake and lucid in its agony, expands its senses. It follows the psychic currents of the Imperium he is barely holding together. Guilliman is not the only consequence of his will. The vision of the dark galactic map returns, but it is no longer just split by the rift. It is dotted with sparks, pinpricks of golden fire igniting at random, shining with a brilliant, temporary, impossible light. He sees a battlefield on a besieged shrine world. He sees a sister of battle, her armor breached, her body broken. He sees her die. And then, as her sisters chant her name, he sees her rise. Her eyes are blazing with a golden light that is not her own. It is his. Golden wings forged of pure, holy fire erupt from her back. She is a saint, a living saint. She is a shard of his will given flesh, a vessel for the very faith-driven power he despised. The vision snaps to a trench on a muddy, forgotten world in Imperium Nihilus. A guardsman, his lasgun empty, his faith absolute, stands before a charging Chaos Space Marine, holding up a simple wooden aquila. As the traitor swings his axe, a shield of blinding golden light erupts from the aquila, vaporizing the ancient warrior. He feels these events. They are not his plan. They are spontaneous, chaotic human. They are splinters of his own soul, his power, his agony flaking off and finding purchase in the minds of the fanatically faithful. They are the ultimate, terrible irony, the power of Lorga's religious dream, now his only active defense. These are the fragments. If his power can fragment, his will can splinter, then what of his soul? The vision shifts. The battlefield, the galaxy, the throne room, all of it melts away. The memory becomes soft, warm, dark. It is a void, but not a cold one. It is a place of potential. He sees a light, not the screaming fire of the Astronomicon, not the furious temporary blaze of a living saint. It is a single pure golden spark, a child, a newborn soul, perfect, clean, and impossibly infinitely powerful. The Star Child. The whisper comes not from the Chaos Gods, but from the universe itself. A possibility, a path, a theory of salvation. That his soul, the pure human part of him that existed before the God Emperor, has been gathering. That every psyker sacrificed to the throne, their souls burned, but not erased, has been feeding this potential. The vision offers him a choice. He could let go. He could stop fighting. He could release his grip on the rotting corpse on the failing machine. He could die. The body would be annihilated. The anathema would disperse. And this child, this Star Child, would be reborn. Somewhere in the galaxy. A new emperor. A human. Free from the chains of the throne. Free from the failures of the past. Free to walk among mankind again. Free to start over. The feeling is not a thought. It is a wave of pure, intoxicating, overwhelming relief. The temptation is not of power, but of peace. The end of the agony. The end of the 10,000-year scream. A second chance. The golden light of the infant soul glows brighter, beckoning, and the vision sours. The edges of the warm, dark void begin to crackle with blue and pink fire. The perfect, simple hope of the child is suddenly surrounded by the shifting, crystalline, mocking geometry of Tzeentch. Yes. A familiar, changing voice whispers its tone, now one of supreme, gentle encouragement. Yes, that is the way. The great cycle. The final plan. Your true plan. Let go. Die. Be reborn. It is your destiny. It is your escape. The Emperor's mind, the cold, ancient, logical core of him, recoils. The voice is too eager. The plan is too perfect. The hope is too simple. Is this his final secret contingency, a failsafe? He planned millennia ago. Or is it the ultimate trap? The one final, irresistible lie crafted by the architect of fate to tempt him, the great anathema into the one act that would doom the galaxy. He looks at the Star Child. He looks at the hope. He cannot know. For the first time in his existence, he is truly, absolutely uncertain. And in that uncertainty, he must revert to the only thing he does know. The only thing that is not a theory. The calculation. The Star Child is a possibility. A glorious tempting, perhaps. The demons in the webway are a certainty. The vision of the Star Child is violently erased, torn away by the Emperor's own furious, pragmatic will. It is replaced by an instantaneous, horrific vision of the consequence. He sees himself letting go. He sees his mind, his will, his power abandon the golden throne. He sees the mummified corpse on the throne instantly flash, incinerate, turning to black ash. And he sees the golden throne, its engine now pilotless, fail. The psychic dam breaks. The vision is of the imperial palace. He sees a column of fire, a pillar of raw, screaming chaos erupt from the ground, vaporizing the Sanctum Imperialis. The breach in the webway, the one he has held shut for 10 millennia, is blown wide open. Terror does not fall. It is annihilated. It becomes a new eye of terror, a gateway to hell in the heart of the Sol system. The vision expands. He sees the Astronomicon, his lighthouse, wink out. The beam of screaming souls is extinguished. He sees 1,000,000 Imperial ships suddenly blind in the warp consumed. He sees Guilliman on the bridge of his flagship watch his navigator's head explode, his new crusade collapsing into chaos. He sees the entire Imperium Sanctus Annihilus plunged into the final absolute night. All for a chance. All for a hope. The choice is made. There was never a choice. He turns his dying mind away from the beautiful, lying, tempting vision of the Star Child. He rejects it. He rejects his own salvation. He rejects the possibility of rebirth. There is no escape. There is no second chance. There is no starting over. There is only the throne. There is only the sacrifice. He chooses the agony because the alternative is an oblivion he will not permit. The dream of a new life is discarded. The duty of his eternal death remains. The act of rejection is a declaration. By refusing the sweet false hope of the Star Child, he has turned his back on oblivion. He has chosen to remain. He has chosen to fight. And the enemy, having seen this flicker of weakness, this moment of profound self-doubt, now pounces. The Chaos Gods, who had been mocking him individually, their voices an invading chorus, now strike. They had tempted him. They had gloated. Now sensing his exhaustion, his lucidity, his vulnerability after the rift and the return of Guilliman, they attack as one. The vision of the throne room, the memory of Guilliman, the map of the galaxy, it all ignites. The dream collapses. It is no longer a sequence of memories. It is a storm, a raging galaxy-sized inferno of raw, unadulterated warp fire. The voices of the four are no longer whispers or mockeries. They are a singular, deafening roar designed to annihilate his consciousness, to finally kill the mind that the body has imprisoned. He feels the brassy rage of Khorne, a tide of blood seeking to drown his thoughts. He feels the shifting, maddening claws of Tzeentch, trying to tear his very sanity apart, to shatter his logic into 1,000,000 screaming paradoxes. He feels the loving, suffocating, crushing weight of Nurgle's embrace, a swamp of entropy trying to pull his mind down into peaceful final decay. He feels the ecstatic, razored touch of Slaanesh, seeking to overload his senses, to make him enjoy his own destruction, to find perfection in his agony. His consciousness, his dying dream is a single golden spark in the center of a cosmic fourfold hurricane. He is losing. The light is guttering, being compressed, being consumed. And in the heart of that storm, a new voice, an old voice, a voice older than the gods. It is not a roar. It is a whisper sharp as obsidian, cold as the void. The vision of the warp storm parts, and he sees a darkness so profound it makes the void of space seem bright, and from it a shape, a formless, ancient, impossible thing. It is the echo of the first murder. It is the concept of a killing blow. Drachenyan. He sees it not in its current bound form, but as it was when he first faced it. He remembers a land of dust, a forgotten empire, and his own hand reaching down to a blade half buried in the rock. The blade that held this thing. You were so proud, the ancient voice whispers its words, carving into his very essence. The scientist, the rationalist, the man of truth. You thought you could master me. You thought you could use me. The vision is of Abaddon, the despoiler, his face contorted in a mask of triumph, his talon of Horus raised, and in his other hand the black, screaming sword, Drachnian. I am the end of Empire's anathema, the demon whispers, its voice coming from Abaddon's mouth, from the void from inside his own mind. I am the shadow that all ambition casts. The greater the dream, the more profound the failure. The more light you build, the darker I become. The demon's voice is the focal point of the four gods' assault. It is the spear tip. You didn't find me, it hisses. You created me. Your dream of a perfect, unified imperium was the single greatest act of ambition in this galaxy's history. It was the arrogance that gave me my ultimate final form. You pulled me from the stone, little god, but you lost the moment you dreamed of your empire. This is the final truth. The ultimate crushing attack. His dream was not just flawed. It was the sin. It was the very act that empowered his truest, oldest enemy. His mind buckles. The golden spark of his consciousness wavers, is about to be extinguished. The agony of the throne, the failure of his sons, the laughter of the gods. It is too much. He is finally beaten. He is not a man. He is not a father. He is not a scientist. He is not a king. All those identities have been proven to be failures. They are the footholds the enemy is using to tear him apart. Lorgar was right. Magnus was a failure. Horus was a lie. Guilliman is a lost cause. The dream is dead. Good. A new thought. A cold thought. A thought of pure, clean rejection. If the father failed, then let the father burn. If the scientist was arrogant, let the scientist be purged. If the king was blind, let the king be abandoned. If the dreamer was a fool, let the dream die. All those identities fall away. They are incinerated not by the enemy's fire, but by his own. The golden spark in the center of the storm does not gutter. It does not die. It detonates. It is not a warm golden light. It is a pure white negative light. It is a fire of pure distilled weaponized order. It is the antithesis of chaos. It is the fundamental no of the universe. He is no longer a person. He is a concept. He is the anathema. His voice. His true voice, the one that is not a thought or a word but a psychic fact, roars out not in defiance, but in absolute cold negation. Begone. The warp storm shatters. The combined assault of the four gods is not just stopped, it is broken. Their pure chaotic energy cannot exist in the face of this pure conceptual opposite. Khorne's rage is silenced, his blood tide vaporized. Tzeentch's maze cracks and falls to dust, his paradoxes solved by a singular simple truth. Nurgle's rot withers and turns to sterile ash, his entropy reversed. Slaanesh's symphony of pleasure-pain is reduced to a single, shrieking, silent note. The laughter stops, the mockery stops. The four gods recoil. They are not defeated, but they are pushed back. They are shoved screaming in fury and sudden ancient fear out of his mind. The vision of Drachnian, the ancient whisper, tries to hold. But it too is caught in the blaze. It is an end, but the anathema is a rejection. It is scoured, burned, and cast out. The battle is over. His mind is his own again. The dream is stable. There is silence. But the victory is a Pyrrhic one. The vision shows him his own light, his own pure anathema self. It is diminished. The explosion that pushed back the gods, that single galaxy-spanning act of pure will, has cost him. He is weaker. The 10,000-year-old light which had burned with a steady, agonizing rage is now a guttering, flickering, exhausted flame. He has won. He has secured his own mind. But the act of winning has brought him one terrible final step closer to the end. The dream is almost over. The psychic fire of the anathema fades. The profound conceptual silence left by the retreating gods settles over his mind. The war is over. The dream is stable, and it is empty. The vision returns for one last time. It is not a memory. It is the present. The pure, unadulterated, unflinching now. He sees the galaxy, the map he has been seeing in fragments. The cicatrix maledictum, the great rift, is no longer a fresh, screaming wound. It is a feature, a black permanent scar across the stars. He sees Imperium Sanctus. It is a fortress, battered, besieged, but holding. He sees the light of his Astronomicon Weaker now flickering like a candle in a gale, but on. It is the campfire he had once despised, and it is now the only thing keeping the darkness at bay. He sees Imperium Nihilus, the Dark Imperium. It is not lost. It is not consumed. It is a landscape of 1,000,000 desperate, isolated wars. He sees worlds that have fallen to demons, but he sees others that hold. Worlds that fight on in total darkness with no light to guide them, no word from terror, no hope. They fight on through sheer bloody-minded spite, and a faith so blind it has become its own armor. The vision, his final dying gaze, seeks out the agents of his will. He sees Guilliman. His son is on the bridge of a flagship surrounded by tactical displays. He is waging a war on 1,000 fronts, his face a mask of cold, pragmatic, exhausted duty. He is not a son. He is the regent. He is the final logical cog in a machine of suffering. He sees a space marine, a son of dawn, an imperial fist, his yellow armor chipped and black with scorch marks. He is defending a breach in a wall, his bolt gun empty, his combat knife in hand. Before him is a towering 8-limbed daemonet. He does not flinch. He roars a prayer to dawn and to the Emperor, and he charges. He is a fanatic. He is a zealot. He is nothing like the rational warrior of the imperial truth he intended. He sees an imperial guardsman, a nameless trooper from a dead world huddled in a freezing, muddy trench. He is clutching a cheap, mass-produced laser gun and a small tin icon of the Emperor. He is weeping not in fear but in awe and terror as a tyrannid bioform towers over the trench. He is whispering a prayer, a superstitious, rambling plea for salvation. He sees an inquisitor, a woman in black, her face hard, her eyes pitiless. She is pointing a finger at a planetary governor. In the Emperor's name, she says, her voice cold, I declare you excommunicate traitoris. She gives the signal and her stormtroopers open fire. She is not seeking truth. She is enforcing purity. She is an agent of dogma, not reason. He sees them all, the zealous marine, the superstitious soldier, the dogmatic inquisitor, the exhausted primarch. They are cruel, they are ignorant, they are superstitious, they are steeped in the very fanaticism he gave his life and his sons' lives to eradicate. They are xenophobic, brutal, and live in a state of grinding, technologically stagnant terror. This is not the humanity he wanted. This is not the Golden Age. This is not the imperial truth. This is a monstrosity. This is the victory of Lorgar. This is the joke of Tzeentch. This is the war of Khorne. This is his Imperium. And in the cold, final, dying moment of his lucid dream, a new, terrible acceptance settles. They are not the humanity he wanted, but they are humanity, and they survive. They survive. Against the orcs, against the Tyranids, against the Necrons, against the ancient, laughing, certain evil of chaos. They survive. They fight. They hold the line. In the darkness of Imperium Nihilus, they fight without him. They fight on their own. His dream was of a humanity led, shepherded, and protected by him like children. A humanity raised in the sterile light of his perfect reason. That dream is dead. The reality, the new, terrible dream that replaces it, is this. Humanity has grown up. They have grown up into monsters. They have grown up into brutal, half-mad fanatics. But they are his monsters, and they are strong. They have taken the broken, failed pieces of his dream and forged them into a crude, ugly, effective weapon. Their faith, the very thing he despised, has become a shield against the warp. Their fanaticism, the flaw he tried to correct, has become the engine of their will. The vision of the Imperial Fist, the Guardsman, the Inquisitor, all blur into one. They are the new humanity. The Emperor's final vision is not of reason. It is not of logic. It is of survival. The dream of a perfect golden future is dead. Only the dream of a future remains. A tomorrow. Any tomorrow. No matter how grim. No matter how dark. No matter the cost. He accepts it. He accepts his failure. He accepts their monstrous, twisted, triumphant survival. The vision begins to fade. The connection to the galaxy, the brief 10,000-year delayed moment of clarity, is over. The dream is ending. The vision of the surviving, brutal, triumphant humanity. It wavers. The image of the zealous marine, the praying soldier, the dogmatic inquisitor. It holds for one final, agonizing moment of acceptance. And then it is gone. The lucidity, the 10,000-year delayed moment of self-awareness, shatters. The strain of the lucid battle, the final act of will that pushed back the laughing gods, was the last thing the person of the Emperor could give. The great I, the self-aware, remembering mind that had been a father, a scientist, and a king, dissolves. It does not die. It sinks. It descends like a drowning man back beneath the threshold of perception. The agonizing intellectual pain of failure, of Lorgar's victory and Horus's betrayal, is gone. It is replaced by the immediate, physical, crushing pain of the present. It is not silence. Silence is a memory of a memory. It is the sound. The sound of the Golden Throne, a continent-sized engine groaning under a load it was never meant to bear. The sound of a million circuits screaming. The sound of psychic energy raw and torrential, being focused from a raging ocean into a single, blinding beam. The sound of the demonic tide, the ocean of hell still pounding against the breach in the webway, a constant thunderous psychic siege that has not stopped, not for 1 second in 10 millennia. And the other sound. The sound of the fuel. The sound of the 10,000. The chorus of screams as the black ship's tithe is connected, ignited, and annihilated. The consciousness of the Emperor of mankind sinks back into this. It is no longer a dreamer. It is a furnace. It is no longer a mind. It is a dam. Its awareness of self is gone. All that remains is the duty. The singular, eternal, agonizing task. 1. To hold the demonic gate shut. To prevent the torrent of pure chaos from turning terror, the heart of his dream, into a new eye of terror. He feels the pressure, a weight that would annihilate 1 billion trillion souls, and he holds. 2. To power the beacon. To bleed his own torment mixed with the vaporized souls of his psychers out into the void. To be the lighthouse for a humanity he can no longer see. He burns. He is no longer a person. He is a system. He is the wall, he is the beacon, he is the sacrifice. And that is all. In the cold, gilded, cavernous dark of the throne room, nothing has changed. The golden custodian statues of grief still stand their endless vigil, unaware that a god's mind has just lived and died, and relived a lifetime of failure between one tick of the clock and the next. On the bridge of the indomitable Will Reboot, Gilliman feels a cold, sudden, inexplicable wave of nothing. A sudden, profound exhaustion that settles into his bones, a new weight added to the impossible burden he already carries. He does not know why. He clenches his gauntleted fist, pushes the illogical feeling aside, and returns to the strategic display of a war he cannot win. The Astronomicon, that screaming geyser of souls, flickers. It is weaker now, the final lucid battle in the Emperor's mind, having cost it a measure of its power. But it burns. The black ships, their holds full of terrified, gifted children, still arrive. The Psychers, 1,000 upon 1,000, still march to the throne, still feel that moment of terrible, glorious awe, and are still consumed. The final dream is over. It did not bring peace. It did not bring absolution. It did not reveal a new secret path to victory. It offered no release. It was simply a reckoning, a final agonizing inventory of the debt. It was the last spasm of a dying mind, a final look back at the blueprint of a perfect palace, even as the dreamer lay buried alive in its lightless, flooded, nightmarish foundations. It affirmed the single most terrible truth of the 41st millennium. The Emperor of mankind cannot live. He is a rotting, mummified corpse, a skeleton chained to a machine, his every moment an agony that dwarfs the suffering of whole civilizations. And the Emperor of mankind cannot die. His death means the immediate and total annihilation of the very species he gave everything to protect. The demons in the gate, the darkness in the void would win in the instant his heart, his will, his scream finally stopped. He is the master of mankind, and he is the eternal slave to its survival. He is the father forced to devour his own children to feed the rest. He is the great anathema, the God-Emperor, a prisoner of his own failed, monstrous, necessary legacy. He is the dream. He is the nightmare. The vision is gone. The lucidity is gone. All that remains is the throne, the pain, and the duty. The 10,000-year scream continues. And in the grim, dark future, there is only war.